We're engineers, and so we kind of think about efficiencies and efficacies. And to me, the idea of there's some coal somewhere that's getting pulled out of the ground and put on a rail car, and then that rail car goes to Delta, Utah, and then it gets burned and makes steam, and then the steam turns a turbine, and then there's electricity that goes into some wire that comes through a bunch of transformers to our building, versus there are some photovoltaic cells on our roof and the electricity is produced there and it goes right down and we consume it. There's just something about the elegance of it that I think appealed to us. I got a referral. I think I actually posted something on Nextdoor and said, who of you anyone have any positive experiences? And there was like overwhelming for your company. Like 3 or 4 people said, oh, I use these guys and they were great. And then there were a couple of others. And then I did, just some online research, and that was what made the decision. Pretty smooth. I mean, we had just done a whole bunch of electrical to the building anyway, so we were kind of already in that. But we put up a shade structure on the parking. So we looked at various options and we ended up just putting it up. It's a steel shade structure. We just ended up putting it there, which made a whole, categories of issues about dealing with tapping into a 100-year-old roof just go away.
Right.
It was it was just a big plane. It was already, we canted it to the south a little bit for shade, and that's the exact same reason that you would do it for solar. Like, we want the sun on the top side and we don't want it on the bottom side, so we picked the angle that kind of splits the difference on the seasons with a little bias toward the summer. So honestly, we don't really think about it that much. Like, it's up and it's producing, and it hasn't required much of our time and attention. It's just kind of done, and it's pretty transparent to our day-to-day life. I mean, we have noticed our bills are much lower than they were at our old building.
Right.
And our old building was reasonably efficient. Like, it wasn't, it was a well-insulated, built in 1968 building. But here it's just much better. I do, it does make sense financially. You can justify it completely on financial terms. To me, there's sort of like an aesthetic. So just the fact that the production is so close to the consumption point is nice. I also just think that the lack of trouble, there's a little bit of planning that goes in, and there's some upfront expense for sure, and then you have the savings over time, so you're amortizing something. But really, once it's up, like, we have had 0 problems. We've had 0 issues. Once it's done, it just goes, and it just sits there generating electricity when the sun shines. So I think that any worries around, oh, is it going to be harder to deal with? It's just, for us, it hasn't been at all. Having gone through the experience with you guys, I have 0 complaints and I have no issues. Like, it was, this is what we're going to do. We do it. We're done. Paid over. Everything clean. No renegotiations. No arguments. No, hey, when are you guys showing up? None of that. It was just very easy.